Assalamu alaikum, friends. Good afternoon to everyone. Basically, what kind of situation happened? So, one subhuman, with his statements, started this whole situation. It's called a storm in the teacup. His detention there, well, it's all links in the same chain. So, then the priest, Father Gabriel, made statements that, in essence, are incorrect. Of course, I spoke about him in the wrong way, so to speak, for which I apologize. Yesterday, I recorded a video. Now, another question. Today, everything is being forwarded around. There are some arguments going on, some kind of movement. People are like... Then I saw, from the center of Moscow, a whole regiment of big guys and shorts guys who were on the front lines with assault rifles, helmets, and body armor demanding that an investigation be conducted against me.
Citizens of Russia, we demand that the investigative authorities of the Military Prosecutor's Office look into and provide a legal assessment of the statements publicly made by an official in the uniform of a Russian army general regarding a Russian Orthodox priest.
You see, I didn't express myself quite right. Well, to begin with, I would recommend that all of you at least watch my video instead of what you made out of it by cutting and splicing parts together. My video is available on my channel. Listen to it, and then tell me where you hear me threatening the priest. Where? You won't see anything like that there. There's nothing like that there. But if an investigation is needed, those who need to will conduct one. But you know what my question is? I have been fighting for Russia for 30 years. I have lost 20 of my closest relatives, starting with my father and my brother. For me, the war began on October 19, 1994. And since then, in one form or another, I have been fighting against this evil. I have a question. Now, I have been at war for 3.5 years. Already it's going on the 4th year. Through my actions, through what I do, I prove who we are, what we are. You saw how our flag has changed? Our flag now has an Orthodox cross and a crescent moon on it. This is exactly what concerns all of you. You became very worried, both you and your handlers, because we have actually started to unite. This is what eats away at you the most. I understand that. The divide and conquer system looks much better in your eyes than our unity. You don't want that, I get it. But I have a question. Let me give you an example. On May 9th, Ramzan Akhmatovich signed a decree awarding the title of Hero of the Chechen Republic to 15 commanders, let's say, and to some of my subordinates who distinguished themselves in particular. Do you know how these awards were distributed? Out of this group, 5 are Chechens, 1 is Ukrainian, and 9 are Russians. You know, Kadyrov's team, Ramzan Akhmatovich, will demonstrate our unity through our actions. We show through our actions that we stand for Russia. We show through our actions that we do not divide anyone by Muslim, Christian, or by nationality at all. That we are truly engaged in a holy war and are fighting against our common enemy, the Antichrist and his army of Qajar, as we say. I have a question for you. Where have you been these past 3.5 years? In Moscow, at the gyms? You're healthy, guys, I can see that. Good for you. Of course, compared to you, my health has declined, because it simply can't help but decline. And for those guys who have been at the front for 3.5 years, the health isn't the same either. We're not as good looking as you, and we can't hold rallies in shorts in Moscow. But if you're such heroes, first prove yourselves here, at the front. Come here. Today, our real enemy, the army of the Antichrist, invading the territory of the Russian Federation. The enemy has invaded Kursk, the territory of the Kursk region. If, even in this case, you did not stand up and go to defend the Gorno monastery, did not go to defend the holy Kursk land, then you want to tell me something or what? Do you really want to prove something to me? I'm actually curious about that. Really do? You know what I mean? When you come home, do you not look at yourself in the mirror? You really are interesting people. When you want to ask someone something, you should first understand for yourself how much your ability to ask has grown. Digging into things like migrants, that's exactly your level. Well, in this case, as they say, you're jumping a bit higher than you should, out of your depth. You shouldn't try to talk to me about anything. I stand for Russia. I speak for Russia, for the sake of Russia, and for the sake of God. And where we stand for God, we stand shoulder to shoulder in the same trenches with our Orthodox brothers. I don't see you there, and I doubt I ever will, even if this war were to last another 15 years. You don't have time for that. Why? Because you have other tasks. You're assigned different tasks, and you have to carry them out. You don't have time to defend the motherland. You don't have time to liberate our Russian land. You don't have time to protect the Russian world, because you have to protest, to create interethnic and interfaith conflicts. You have completely different tasks. So I'll put it this way. You know what? I'm truly ready for any outcome in any situation. A person who has spent 30 years walking every day between life and death, how? Do you think I view everything that's happening? Honestly, I see all of this very simply. You all need to hear this. First and foremost, to begin with, at least sit down and watch my video from start to finish. Secondly, after you watch it, tell me what complaints do you actually have after that. I'm honestly curious myself. Do you want to say that I have a negative attitude toward orthodoxy? You won't succeed with that. Do you want to say that I have a negative attitude toward Russians? Again, you won't succeed with that. So the question is, which one of us is working for whom? I'm working for Russia. I'm curious. Who are you working for? Maybe you don't realize it, but you're working to break Russia apart through interethnic and interfaith strife. In Russia, besides you, there are also other nationalities and representatives of other faiths. Learn to behave tolerantly toward our brothers, to treat each other with respect. Don't go around telling people that our faith is supposedly wrong. If we start telling each other who has what kind of faith, we won't get very far. We need to learn to respect and love each other as we are with our religions, our nationalities, our customs, and our traditions. Learn to love each other as we are. And I would also like to quote, though I can't recall the exact words right, now an Orthodox saint. I really like this story where it turns out, fell into a long sleep, almost like a coma. And then when he came to all his friends, priests, everyone rushed to him, and they all started asking him, what was it like there? Did you see God? What was he like? And he said these words, the fences we build on earth do not reach God. How much I love these words. Don't try to fence yourselves off from each other. Do everything you can to remove those fences. And then you will see in the people you are trying to make into enemies, your best friends. We can't do without each other. Why? Because if we start quarreling among ourselves, that's exactly what our enemy wants. The enemy couldn't defeat us on the front line. Our guys are heroically fighting against the army of the Antichrist. And the only thing that can defeat us is collapse from within. We must not play into the enemy's hands, because in that case, we will end up among the losers. Well, that's one thing for us older folks. We've already lived our lives. I don't want our children to end up in the same abyss that we barely managed to climb out of. I really don't want that. So please, if anyone wants to accuse me of something, first sit down and watch my video from beginning to end. If after that you still have questions for me, I am ready to meet with any of you, wherever and however you want. We'll meet, sit down like civilized people, and discuss what we see, what it's all about. And as for who's behind all this, we already know, we're aware of everything. What we're discussing right now has nothing to do with it at all. That's a completely different matter, and we know who's involved in that. So, God willing, we will preserve Russia. God willing, we will manage to win this war and make it so that Russia can live a peaceful, calm life. All the best to everyone. Wishing you all the best. Akhmat is strength, Russia is power, God is one. Allahu Akbar.